Now, as a first-time director, as far as like narrative stories go, was there a director you kind of studied and took, kind of an influence from?
Yeah, for this movie, it was a bunch. I mean, it's like more specific movies than... Yeah, I mean, I love like Cassavetes and, Catherine Breillat and...
You mentioned Robert Altman earlier.
Yeah, I love Three Women, or Tall Women. No, what is it? Three Women. Tall Women's the play on Broadway. I love PTA. I love him. I know it's like not cool for some reason for I think young people to sometimes say PTA because it's like he's just so obvious or something.
Right.
But I love his stuff, and Julia Ducournau's film Raw, and Trey Edward Schultz's film Krisha, and even like The Wrestler, and I tend to be a fan of like what I perceive as actors, directors. Even like PTA, who I think a lot of people like obviously love his craft and everything, but I do too. But like, I just think what he gets out of his actors, what he's able to do with actors and that's Cassavetes and Bergman and just people that I feel like have an intimate relationship with their actors and are able to get performances out of, because that's what I watch when I watch in movies. I mean, that's the 95% of what I'm watching, and that's what made me confident going into the movie. Not confident, I mean, I was of course not confident, but like I knew I had a long way to go technically, and I had a lot to learn from people around me, but I felt like I know what I think a good performance looks like. I know the type of a performance out of kids that I want to get that I haven't seen. So that's what I was that was this. If there was any solid ground beneath my feet, it was acting.
Well, if you look at kids at this stage of life and how they're portrayed, it's Disney Channel, which is a fantasy. I mean, that's not what kids are dealing with now. I mean, the film is, 8th grade is the most honest portrayal of kids at this stage of life. And of course, even though I did not grow up and neither did you, but like that, it's so relatable. We were talking before we started recording the scene at the swimming pool when she's awkwardly going out in just here's my body, this is the way it is now. I'm not a girl, but I'm not a woman, and now I'm gonna be. It's so awkward. We're just that. I mean, first of all, one of the greatest scenes in the movie, and just so relatable and so like, why is there so few honest moments?
I mean, for me, the falsity that's in teen movies is actually, like, not really situational. Like, sometimes, there's the Disney-fied sort of PG version of it that needs to happen. But even sometimes in the more quote-unquote adult ones, like, the way it feels false to me is not necessarily... Because, like, my movie's full of cliches. It's a daughter and her father at the dinner table arguing. It's a pool party. I mean, you've seen these things. It's more like the moment-to-moment articulated. It's the way kids sound that always feels so fake to me, where it feels like kids in movies tend to talk with an ability that is similar to a screenwriter's ability to write. You know what I mean? Which is like, it's just not... Like, the struggle of the movie, it's actually in a lot of departments of the movie, it's like, how do you write someone that can't yet speak? How do you dress someone that can't yet dress themselves? I mean, you look at like sometimes like bedrooms in teen movies, and you're like, this looks like it was done by an interior decorator instead of a kid. And like, a kid's bedroom isn't actually a perfect representation of themselves. It's actually like their 7-year-old shit stacked on top of their 8-year-old shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a mess. Half of the stuff is random and has no sense of like space, and it's not perfectly done. Like, same with their wardrobe. Like, when you're doing a fitting for kids for a movie, you're actually trying to fit them for clothes that shouldn't fit them because none of their clothes fit that right. So that's what, for me, that's the sort of thing we were trying to avoid, is the perfectness. And even you've seen movies, I'm sorry, or shows or whatever with kids that are losers, and everyone, we've always seen the outsider, but even the outsider, they're like perfect outsiders, and they have like they're secret photographers that write perfect poems and talk about their... And
either like, that or completely over the top.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, it's like, I don't know. And I don't think it's just kids. I think it extends to everybody. But like, I wanted to pursue that feeling of inarticulate, the real messiness of what it means to be a kid.